These SC questions are similar to the ones said by UNAB, KCSE, GCSE, and IGCSE examination boards. You will have enough time to recall the correct answer. Don't worry, we shall get the correct answer through discussions. I wish you the best of luck. Question 21. How are birds adapted to flight? Question 21, Part A. How are birds adapted to flight? And Part B. With the aid of diagrams, describe how wings are moved up and down during flight in animals. We shall start with Part A. Part A says, how are birds adapted to flight? Now, they have hollow bones that makes the bird light, hence easy to buoy. They have hollow bones, these ones makes the bird light, and therefore it can easily buoy, or it can easily float or move in the air. Then they also lack some organs like sweat glands, teeth, ovary in females in order to reduce underweight for easy flight. For example, some of the birds, they lack organs like the sweat glands, teeth, one ovary in the females in order to reduce underweight of easy flight. Then they also lack the earlobes, which would provide air resistance. If you look on their head, they don't have the earlobes, which would provide air resistance. Their feathers are arranged in a backward direction to provide streamlined body to reduce air resistance. So when the feathers are arranged in the backward direction, they form a streamlined body, and this one reduces the resistance of air on the feathers. They have efficient respiratory system to provide necessary oxygen due to the possession of the air sacs. That is an adaptation to flight, whereby their respiratory system is able to provide the necessary oxygen because of the presence of the many air sacs. They also have well-developed brain, and they also have fused bones to reduce on the weight. They have a high visual ability to dodge obstacles and correctly judge distance for landing. That's another adaptation. They have also efficient circulatory system for the transporting of food and respiratory gases as fast as the body needs them. The forelimbs are modified into wings for large surface area. They have large muscles for moving the wings that cause flight. Question 21, Part B. We shall start with question 21, Part B. With the aid of diagrams, describe how wings are moved up and down during flight in birds. Part B wants us to, with the aid of the diagrams, describe how the wings are moved up and down during flight in birds. Let us start with the downstroke, and we shall look at the muscles and the bones that are used in flight. We have the coracoid, we have the pectoralis minor, we have the pectoralis major, and we have the keel. Those are the sum of the muscles that are used during the contraction of muscles and relaxation of muscles, which leads to the cause of the birds to fly. Pectoralis major muscle contracts while pectoralis minor muscle relax, and hence the wings are moved or pulled downwards. So when pectoralis major contracts and pectoralis minor muscle relaxes, the wing is going to be lowered downwards. Now let's look at the upstroke. We are going still to use the same muscles, pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. So when pectoralis minor muscle contract, while the pectoralis major muscle relax, the wings are raised. That is when pectoralis minor muscle contract and major pectoralis muscle relax, hence the wings are raised up. Question 22. What are the functions of skeleton in mammal? What are the functions of a skeleton in mammal? Let's start with the part A. Skeletons allow locomotion of the mammal by providing a surface for muscle attachment. That is one of the functions of a skeleton in a mammal. It allows locomotion of the mammal by providing a surface for muscle attachment. Then also a skeleton, it is a place where there is the manufacture of the red blood cells from the bone marrows of the bones. The skeleton also takes part in the manufacture of the red blood cells. The skeleton also protects the internal delicate organs like the brain, the spinal cord, which are found in the vertebral column. We have the lungs and the heart, which are protected in the rib cage. So the skeleton provides protection to our delicate organs like the brain and the skull. The brain is found in the skull and the spinal cord is found in the vertebral column. And it also provides the lungs and the hearts and a cage that is used for their protection. The skeleton also forms a framework of the body and hence gives the body shape. The shape of the organism depends on the framework of the skeleton. So the skeleton is really very important in the body shape of an organism because it is the skeleton that forms a framework of the body, hence giving the body that shape. Skeletons also aid breathing by the use of the rib cage in the adjustment of the volume of the thoracic cavity. Now we know that when we are breathing, the ribs play a big role in the process of breathing because they are the ones that bring about the changes in pressure and volumes in the lungs and entry of air and the expulsion of air from the body. So they aid in the breathing by using the rib cage in the adjustment of the volume of the thoracic cavity. Then they are also used in the storage of mineral ions. Ions like calcium and phosphorus are stored in the bones. So sometimes when the body needs the bones, it needs to get the minerals from the bones, especially calcium and phosphorus. The bones also are used for mechanical digestion of food by the teeth and the movement of the jawbone. So you find that when you are eating food, you are using your teeth, and the teeth are connected to the jaw. So that movement assists in mechanical digestion of the food because you are crushing down the food using the teeth and the movement of the jaw bones. They are also used in hearing through the transmission of sound vibration by the ear bones, which we call the oscles. Now, when you move to the ears, there are bones which we call the oscles. Those oscles, they are malleus, incus, and stapes. Those ones are bones that are found in the ear, and they are the ones that help in hearing through the transmission of the sound vibration through the bones which we call oscles. Now let's go to part B, which says, with the aid of a labeled diagram, describe how movement is caused in a named hinge joint in a mammal. That is question 22, part B. It requires us, with the aid of a labeled diagram, to describe how movement is caused in one of a named hinge joint in mammal. We shall look at a hinge joint at the elbow. Now, when you look at the hinge joint at the elbow, we have those two muscles. There is the biceps and the tricep muscle, which is at that point the hinge joint. So now we are going to look at the bending of the arm. Now, the bending of the arm at the hinge joint of the elbow is caused by the contraction of the bicep muscles, which were those ones. So when those bicep muscles contract, there is going to be also the relaxation of the triceps muscle. Now the triceps muscle are relaxing, the biceps muscle are contracting. This is going to cause the triceps to stretch, and the biceps will pull the radius, and then the arm is going to bend. That is how the bending of the arm at the hinge joint is brought about by the two muscles, biceps contracting and the triceps relaxing. Now, still at the same hinge joint at the elbow, we want to see how the joint is straightened. Now, at this point, you will see that now the biceps are relaxed and the triceps are contracted. So, when straightening of the arm, the triceps muscles contract, while the bicep muscles, they do relax. So if you look clearly, you will see that the triceps muscles are contracting because they have become thicker, and then the biceps muscles have relaxed because they have become very thin. This shows that there is contraction in the triceps and relaxation in the biceps. So what is happening? This causes the biceps to stretch. The biceps are stretching and the triceps pull the ulna, and then the arm is straightened. So at the hinge joint, when we are straightening the arm, the tricep muscles will contract and the biceps muscles will relax. And this causes the biceps to stretch and then the triceps to pull the ulna, and then the arm will be straightened. So that's what causes that, the hinge joint. Question 23, part A. It says, describe the structure of different types of bird feathers, stating the function of each type. That is question 23, part A. Describe the structure of different types of bird feathers, stating the function of each type. We shall start with the quill feather. Now, the quill feather, if you look at it, it consists of a large cylindrical quill at the base. It has a large cylindrical quill at the base, and then the quill is hollow with two holes. There is one which is inferior umbilicus at the base and inferior umbricus, superior umbricus at the top. So that is the quill feather. It consists of a large cylindrical quill at the base, and then the quill is hollow with two holes, the inferior umbricus at the base and the superior umbricus at the top. Now, still looking at our quill feather, you will see that the quill is attached to a solid rachis on which the barbs are attached. That is the quill, or what we call calamus. It is attached to the solid rachis on which the barbs are attached. You can see at the bottom or the proximal end, we have inferior umbricus, that's hollow part, and then the upper part, you have the two hollow areas or tubes, which we are calling the distal or the superior umbilicus. Now that one continues upwards with what we call the rachis. Now on the rachis, it's where the barbs are attached. Now the aftershaft barbs are without interlocking barbules. The aftershaft barbs are without interlocking barbules. Those are the downy barbs that you are seeing near the distal or the superior umbilicus. Those are the shaft barbs, but for them, they don't have interlocking barbs. Still looking at the quill, you will see that the vein is made up of barbs with interlocking barbules. If you look at the rachis, it's going up, and then from the rachis, there are branches of the barbs. Now the barbs have got hooklets. Now those hooklets, barbules, the barbules are moving from the barbs, and the barbules have got hooklets which hook into the barbules, other barbules, so to form an interlocking barbules, which barbules are attached on the barbs. Now you will see also that it has an aftershaft which is small and it is near the quill, and the vein is broad and flat. That is for the quill. And the quill aids in flight, and it also offers protection. It aids in flight and it offers protection. Let's now look at another type of feather, and this one is the covert feather. Now, if you look at your covert feather, you will see that it has a small and soft quill with a large aftershaft and a short vein. That is the covert feather. It has got a small and soft quill with a large aftershaft and a short vein. Then you also see that its function is for temperature regulation by insulating the body of the bird against heat loss. So that is the covert feather. It has a small and soft quill with a large aftershaft and a short vein. Its function is for temperature regulation. It insulates the body of the bird against heat loss. Another type of feather is what we call the down feather. Now, if you look at the down feather, it has a very short quill without a rachis. It has got a very short quill without a rachis. And then also you will notice that the barbs have no interlocking barbules. The barbs have no interlocking barbules. That is the down feather. It has a very short quill without rachis. The barbs have no interlocking barbules. The down feather is used for temperature regulation. It is used for temperature regulation. That is the down feather. Another type of feather is the phyloplume feather. The phyloplume feather. Now, if you look at it, it's made up of a long, slender rachis with few barbs at the end. That is a phyloplume feather made up of a long, slender rachis with few barbs at the end. It has no quill and is used for sensory roles during flight. That is the phyloplume feather made up of a slender rachis with few barbs at the end, with no quill, and its function is mainly for sensory roles during flight. Part B. This is question 23, part B. We want to look at part B. Part B asks us that what factors contribute to the bird's ability to fly? What factors contribute to the bird's ability to fly? So here, what they are trying to talk about, they are talking about the adaptations of birds to fly. We want to look at the adaptations of birds to fly. Now, the birds have hollow bones, and these bones, because they are hollow, they make the bird light, hence easy to buoy. So it's because of the hollow bones which makes the bird light, hence is a boy. You will find that the birds also, they lack earlobes, which would lead to air resistance. So the birds do not have air lobes, and this reduces the resistance which would have been developed because of air resistance. So they have no earlobe. That is another adaptation which helps the birds to fly. Now the birds also, they lack some organs like the sweat glands, teeth. They have one mammary ovary in the female in order to reduce the weight of the bird for easy flight. So they lack some organs like the sweat glands, the teeth, one ovary that is in the female in order to reduce the weight for easy flight. And you also find that they have fused bones to reduce the weight. So all those are adaptations of the birds to fly, lacking some organs like the sweat glands, teeth, one ovary in the female in order to reduce the weight for easy flight, and then also to have the bones fused together, as this reduces the weight of the bird. The bird's feathers are arranged in a backward direction to provide a streamlined body. This reduces the air resistance. So the feathers are arranged in a way that they face backward direction to provide a streamlined body which reduces the air resistance as the birds are flying through the air. And then the feathers also have interlocked barbules. They have interlocked barbules. This makes them very strong and are adapted to the flight conditions. The forelimbs are also modified into the wings, and these provide the surface area for flight. Those are the forelimbs of the birds have been modified into wings to provide a surface area for flight. That is another adaptation of birds to fly. Then you will also see that they have large muscles for moving the wings that causes flight. Their muscles are very strong. The pectoralis major and pectoralis minor are very large and stronger muscles which are used for flight. You will also see that they have efficient respiratory system to provide oxygen as fast as it is needed. Their respiratory system is very efficient in providing oxygen which is needed to break down the glucose to provide the bird with enough energy. So that is another adaptation for the birds to fly. Then there is also a high visual ability to dodge obstacles and correctly judge distance for landing. They have that ability to have the high visual ability to dodge obstacles and then correctly judge the distance for landing. That is another adaptation for the birds to fly. Also, when you look at the birds, they have efficient circulatory system for transporting food and respiratory gases fast as the body needs them. Their circulatory system for transporting food and respiratory gases is very efficient, and it does so very fast as the body needs them. They also have a well-modified brain for coordination of the body activities, as the body is easily moving in the air and also other physiological processes taking place in the body. The brain is well modified to coordinate all these body activities. Those are adaptations of the birds to fly. You will also see that they have a high operating temperature regulatory system. They can regulate the temperatures very, very well. So this one helps them to fly because of the high operating temperature regulatory system, and also to provide an optimum temperature for biochemical reaction in the bird. So because of this system, the high operating temperature regulatory system, which provides optimum temperature for biochemical reactions in the birds are able to carry out, or they have that ability to fly. Thank you very much for attending to Support and Movement Essay Questions and Answers. This has been Support and Movement Part 5. Please, I encourage you to go to Part 6. The answers will be discussed. And please do not forget to visit my YouTube channel, Mugabi Joshua. And please press that subscription button. Let us meet in Part 6.